Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic on an absolutely horrendous day of weather here in the UK. We have Storm Dara, I think it's called, currently ravaging, ravaging the whole of the country actually, but we've already had 2 power cuts this morning here, which is one of the most terrifying things as a YouTuber, because if the power goes down, obviously I lose the video. So I was wondering when before I turned on the webcam now, whether I should be, after every 10 minutes sort of stopping the video to make sure I keep that footage. I don't know. I don't really know what to do. I'll probably wing it and just pray that for the next however long this puzzle takes me, we don't lose power. The puzzle, by the way, I should tell you that. The puzzle is from the Zodiac Project, and it's called Kyklos, I think. It could be Kyklos. It looks Greek. And it's by Shintaro Fushida-Hardy, a constructor who first came to my attention from Reddit recommendations from a Sudoku that Shintaro published there. It was an absolutely brilliant puzzle. But since then has almost made the Saturday slot his own, because on Saturdays of late anyway, we have been doing a lot of pencil puzzles, and I'm pretty sure I've done at least 2 Shintaro puzzles in this Saturday pencil puzzle series, and today is another one. So I'm looking forward to having a go at this. The rules I think the rules are understandable. I mean, that's a good thing, isn't it, that the rules are understandable? I mean, it's described as being a Yagellin variant and a disjoint clues. But when I read the rules, I think they're actually simpler than that. I think so. Anyway, this is what I'm going to have a go at for you in today's video. It's got 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty, so hopefully not too monstrous, which might give us a chance to finish it before the electricity goes down. Now, other news that I'd like to share with you. But I feel like I'm under pressure in terms of time. I'm delighted to tell you that Maddy's video is going to go live probably on Monday morning UK time. This is a video that I made with one of our patrons over on Patreon. Maddy's name came out of the hat for winning the competition for last month's Patreon reward. She was kind enough to agree to make a Sudoku video with me. We made it, the technology worked, and that video is going to go live on Monday morning. So if you want to see me and one of the Cracking the Cryptic viewers do battle with a puzzle, do watch that video. I had a lot of fun. I think Maddy enjoyed it too. And it's going to be, well, hopefully it'll be the start of a series, because that's going to be the prize for this month as well. Check out the December reward over on Patreon if you want to enter the competition, which closes on the 20th of the month. We will be back to streaming next week. I'm not sure on the day yet, but Mark has made a crossword video, which is over on Patreon as well, in which he solves a truly remarkable puzzle by the constructor Colin Thomas, which I've now had a look at as well. It is a work of genius, actually. If you enjoy cryptic crosswords, especially with a twist in them, you must firstly have a go at that puzzle. I'll try and remember to put a link to the puzzle under this video, and secondly watch Mark solve it, which I haven't seen yet. I just know he's done it, but because I've solved the puzzle, I do know what's involved, what's going to be revealed in that video, and I can tell you it will be worth watching. Now my phone's buzzing at me, it's all kicking off. So yeah, that's over on Patreon. What else? Let me think. I should have made a better list today. Actually, I've got a couple of messages I'd like to give as well in respect of a couple of viewers. Not birthdays today, bizarrely, after the last 2 days when there have been huge amounts of birthdays. I'm going to start off with a message for Serena from Lucas over there in Austria. I'm actually going to I'll sort of read this one out. So I know that, well, this is Lucas's message. I will just read it out. This is Lucas's message to his wife, Serena. Today, 13 years ago, my wife Serena and I became a couple. From there on, I have no longer been a naked single, pun intended. In the meantime, we got married and started a family. We have 4 wonderful boys, and the oldest one, at the age of 7, is into 4x4 Sudokus already. I just wanted to say how much I love her and how grateful I am to have her. She's smart, funny, beautiful. She's the best mother anyone can imagine, and she's tough as nails. She's the love of my life and the centre of my universe. And she even watches Cracking the Cryptic videos with me, although she's not so much into logic puzzles as I am. What more can I wish for? So, Serena, I hope it is a nice thing to hear that from your husband today. I thought that was such a lovely message, and I'm delighted to share it with you. I hope you get some cake as well. That would make the day perfect. And also, I'm going to say thank you to one of our viewers, Mary, over there in Ridgewood, New Jersey. Mary has been recovering from some surgery and using Cracking the Cryptic videos as a bit of a distraction. And Mary wrote us the kindest email. Mary, thank you very much. I was moved by your words, and I hope that your recovery continues apace. And with that said and done, just checking my list, why don't we have a look at Shintaro's puzzle, and I will read you the rules of this one. So, because we're on non-Sudoku Saturday, there are, how big is this grid? Let's actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 by 11 it looks like. And the first line of the rule says Yagel invariant, brackets where shaded cells can touch, but I don't think we need that, so don't be scared by that. It then says the grid consists of 3 types of cells: clue cells, shaded cells, and loop cells. You will use the clue cells to determine the shaded cells and draw a loop through all the remaining cells. The loop travels orthogonally through the centres of cells and may not branch or cross itself. 2 shaded cells are given. So I think what we take from that is that the clue cells are these ones, these orange ones. The shaded cells we've been given 2, and that's the darker colour. And there's going to be one other type of coloured cell, or not necessarily coloured cell, but there's going to be one other type of cell, which is a loop cell, into which we're going to have to draw a loop. Now, if you're new to our software, the way you draw loops is you click the cog icon, make sure you have the pen tool on, which I always do, and then a little icon will come up to the right of your number pad, and then you can draw loops just by dragging. This is this wonderful software that Sven has created. So that is how to draw loops. And there's one more. Oh no, there isn't. There's a bit more rules. So it then says place the digits 0 to 8 in the 9 brown clue cells with no repeats. So that means there are 9, presumably. Yeah. So there are 9. Are these brown or orange? Brown, apparently. I'm so colourblind. Anyway, there are 9 brown cells. So these have to contain the digits 0 through 8. And each digit counts 2 things. First, it is the number of shaded cells in the 8 neighbouring cells. I see. So if this was a 6, that would mean that in those cells there, in those green cells, 6 of these 8 green cells would be shaded. So that's that colour. So not loop, in other words. Now what else does this 6 equal? Second, it is the total number of shaded cells in all indicated directions. And this count is not obstructed by any other cell types. So basically what we then do is we look along that diagonal and that diagonal, and there should be 6 shaded cells, six of the black cells in those 2 directions altogether. So I mean that's fairly clear, isn't it, actually? Now it says for clarity, clue cells are not considered shaded and cannot be shaded. Well, that's what I'd already understood from the rules. For answer check, place a 0 in all shaded cells, so these are going to have to contain 0 at the end, and a 9 in all loop cells. Okay, well, we'll worry about that if we can get to the end of the puzzle. We won't worry about it yet. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now. Okay. So, right, I see why it's saying Yagellin variant. In a normal Yagellin puzzle, I could draw. This cell would have to be loop, because you couldn't have two adjacent... Oh, hang on, how do I do this? You couldn't have two adjacent dark cells. That dark colour is exactly the same as the dark colour in my palette. I wonder if that must be the default dark colour. So so normally this would have to be, what colour should we have for loop? Well, let's have green. So because two grey cells couldn't be adjacent to each other orthogonally, this would have to be green, and therefore that would have to be loop. But in this puzzle, that's not necessarily true. That can't be 8. One of these has to be 8, and that one can't be, because that one, we're told, is not whatever it was called. It's not a shaded cell, it's just a clue cell. So I could do 7 around that one. But okay, so the one that's got 8 around it is going to be... It's not that one, because that one has only got 4 cells on the diagonals. In fact, that then has got to be 0, 1, 2, 3 or 4, doesn't it? I mean, that's a ludicrous pencil mark, but that is true. So this one can't have too many grey cells around it, because it can't see too many in the diagonal directions. Oh look, there's huge diagonals here and here though. What about that one? 1, 2, 3. That's also a maximum of 4. That 1, 2, 3. Oh no, see, that one could be 8. That one? That could be 7. Oh dear, oh dear. How do you start this? Maybe it's 0. Maybe 0 is a better thing to focus on. So if you had a 0, if that was 0, what are we saying then? We're saying that all of those cells are loop. And that's absolutely fine, isn't it? Oh, I suppose we're not only saying that, we're also saying that the whole diagonal is also open, but that's also fine. I'm not understanding. I haven't quite grokked how to even consider how to solve this yet. I'm being slow. I know I am. See, ordinarily in Yagellin as well, this would be very, you couldn't make that cell black because that would isolate a loop cell. But I should just forget Yagellin. Yagellin has nothing to do with this puzzle. This puzzle is about what is it about? How am I going to do this? I mean, if that was 4, is there a problem with just carving? Because what that would do is it would isolate a massive portion of the grid up here, which couldn't contain loop. I say that. Could this puzzle contain a tiny loop? Like, could there just be a loop up here and then... Oh no, that's not going to work, is it? Because other than the 8 clue, so even if you had a clue that was 7, say that was a 7, that would mean that there was one cell around this orange clue or brown clue that had to have loop in it. So we can't have a tiny loop here and just have the whole of the rest of the grid shaded, because then all these clues would effectively become 8s, and that doesn't work. Right. So can you just sort of hive off huge portions of the grid like this. So if this is 4, I suppose that would then be 3. I don't know. I don't see why not. So what is it then? I'm genuinely baffled. I've got no idea what to do. If I sorry. I'm actually quite pleased in a way, because it's not that I like the feeling. I don't like the feeling when this happens when I'm on camera, but I do quite like it, just from a sort of puzzling perspective, to be just totally and utterly stumped. What on earth am I meant to do? Is it the long diagonal sum? But it can't be, because that could be anything. Well, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, okay, that can't be... Oh, okay. That's quite interesting. I don't know if this is going to be important, but it's got my spider sense tingling. If that was an 8, that is all of a sudden, I see, that is restricting. Because all of those squares would be grey. And also, of course, all of these would be grey. And that feels impossible for the reasons I mentioned before, which is that we could decide that the loop occupied the northwest, but then all of these clues would break because they would all be 8s as well. Or we could decide that the loop occupied the southeast, in which case these clues would be broken because they would be 8s, because they couldn't contain any loop cells up here. So I wonder whether there's some restriction on which of these can be 8s. Those 3 can't be 8s. Can that one be an 8? Surely that can be an 8. I don't know. Let's have a look. If that's an 8, well, if that's an 8, we definitely have to ring the rosy there, don't we? Actually, that one can't be an 8. This one... no, it's not quite symmetrical with that. So I should concentrate on what I'm doing. I've had this idea about where the 8 goes, and now I'm trying to shortcut things. I shouldn't do that. Hang on. This is going to be it, isn't it? I've just realised something else. I said at the start that can't be 8. And that's true. I mean, that's got the most arrows, so that seems to have the most flexibility to be 8. But because it's got this brown clue cell next to it, it can't be 8 because it can only be 7, because that one can't be included in the count of greys around this clue, and that's got the same property, hasn't it? That can have 7. So in terms of which ones can be 8s, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. That one can only see 7. We counted that one, so not that one. So it's one of these 3 is the 8. Now, actually, I'm just going to have a look at this one, because is this one the same as that one? 5, 6, 7, 8. No. Well, it's not quite the same. All of those would be grey. No, but how would that be a loop? No, I don't think this is possible. Because you then have to make a decision. How do we treat this area of the grid? And if this area of the grid includes loop, then the loop has one entry and one exit. So the loop sort of does this. But you can see now that the loop can never get out of the southeast or the northwest, so it can't be a loop. Wow! What a ludicrous pencil mark that is. Sorry. Mouse went crazy. But if, on the other hand, you make any of these cells around here grey, then you've got we've got a loop down here, for example, but no loop up there, because we can only have one loop. And that's going to lead to the problems that we have already talked about. So actually, this one can't be 8 as well. So either this one or this one is the 8. And I have no real... I don't really have a sense for which of those is less like. I suppose this one has a clue on its diagonal. So maybe that is more restricted. Let's think about this one. So we'd immediately do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there would be one missing grey in all of those cells. They'd all be grey except for one. That feels impossible. Because isn't that going to isolate a loop strand, if you see what I mean? I mean, the way I'm... Oh, actually, hang on. Actually, I'm not sure it does. Okay, if this is 8, every other clue has to have loop around it, because the maximum size you could put into its clue cell would be a 7, and that means that there's going to be one loop cell around in the 8 cells around it. I mean, perhaps with the exception of these two, which could be 7 without having a loop cell around it. But certainly this, for example, let's go back here. Let's just, how am I going to do this? I know that one of these blue cells, so if this is 8, one of these blue cells is not grey. And I think that means that because this can't be an 8, there will be loop around here, and therefore it is not possible for all of those to be grey, because that would indicate we've got a loop just roaming round the south-west corner, and that would be broken, for example. So what that's going to mean is that these two are definitely grey. And now no loop can get in there. And this is broken. Wow. Wow. Why is this broken? Because it's got 5 grey cells around it, and it can't be a 5 because of its diagonal. Good grief. Oh, that's lovely. That is absolutely lovely. So this is not the 8. And at least we are able to place a digit. This is the 8. So all of these are grey. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So okay. Therefore, what does that mean? It means this can't be a 0 anymore, because it's got... Oh no, hang on, it's counting all of those. It can't be a 1 anymore either. So this is at least a 2, because it's got 2 cells touching it. Which, that feels interesting. So this has got some loop cells around it. So the loop definitely gets into this portion of the grid, and it definitely gets into this portion of the grid, and it definitely gets into that portion of the grid. Sorry, why am I saying these fatuous things? It's because I'm trying to visualize how the loop is going to have to move through the completed grid. And what I'm not quite sure about is whether... Hang on, let's recount these diagonals. So I've got a similar thing, I think, to what we had over here, but I think there's a bit more flexibility. So I've got to put 6 of these 8 blue cells are going to turn grey. Now, what does that mean, if anything? Well, okay, here is one thing I can see that means. Yeah, this is true actually. It is not possible for all 3 of these cells to be grey. Let me show you why. If all 3 of these are grey, how do we get the loop to touch this clue cell? And it's going to have to, because the maximum size of this is 7. So there's going to be loops somewhere around it. But that loop can't get out. There's only one exit now from this portion of the grid in the top side. So we can get one loop strand coming into this section, but that will not allow us to create a loop. That loop strand will be isolated in this sort of cul-de-sac in the top right-hand corner. So it's not possible for all of these to be grey. So at least one of these is loop. And that means, so at least one of these, we can only get 2 greys up here. So we must get 4 at least from down here. What would, oh, well hang on, isn't it, oh it's the same. Oh, this is really clever. Or is it? Hang on. Yeah, I think it's the same. If all of these were grey, we know that this is touched by the loop. We know that that is touched by the loop. And that is impossible, because there's only one exit from the southeast corner now. Oh, dearie me. This, how, I mean, I think this puzzle's got sort of a 93% rating or something, but who is doing a puzzle like this and not just thinking, this is really excellent? It just is excellent. It's so weird and interesting. Yeah, okay. That's right, isn't it? I'm playing this through in my mind, trying to convince myself that there isn't a hole in that logic. I don't think there is a hole in that logic. If that has to be touched by the loop, and it does, and that has to be touched by the loop, and it does, then there has to be a loop strand going there that's going to come down and touch this somewhere, and it can't get out. It can't come back up this passageway. So what this means is that there is a gap. One of these exactly has to be green, and one of these exactly has to be green. And that's going to, so let's just pick a cell. Let's pick those 2 as being green. Now you can see that the loop has connectivity, because the loop can touch this, it can touch this, it can touch this, and there's communication. But there is a, yes, so that's the other interesting thing that means is that the entry and exit point for the loop into this top right hand corner has to come down this column, because there's only going to be only one of these 3 cells here is green. So there's only going to be, it's going to be possible for the loop to cross, in this instance, this cell, but it can't get back out then. So the only way it's going to get out of the top right-hand area is down there. So all 3 of these are green, and the loop comes down the final column. Okay, right, and that means, that this cell can't be grey anymore. So that's not 4. So it's now 2 or 3. If it's 3, it's broken. This is 2. Oh, I actually love this puzzle. If this is 3, those 3 have to be grey now. But we know that the loops come into this area and it can't get out again. That cannot be right. So this is 2. And it's had its 2 grey cells counting. So all of those are green. These 2 are now the grey. This is beautiful. These 2 are now the grey. The loop has to now go through. We've created a sort of straight here that the loop has to pass through. It has to keep going, actually. It's got to go to there. Yeah, that's true. It has to. I don't know whether it has to join there. It could sort of rinky-dink into that corner. So we won't assume anything in that regard. This is a corner of the loop. So the loop has to do that. And that gives us another cell of loop. Oh, there goes the wind. Power don't go off. Power don't go off. I don't want to stop now, actually, because I was on a bit of a roll, wasn't I? I was actually doing things. I've got to be careful. I can't assume this is how the loop could go through this square. It's just I know one of these is green. The other 2 are grey. Yeah, maybe I've got to be a bit careful, actually, because I'm starting to look at these as if they're gospel, and they're most certainly not. Not sure, actually. So what's going to be the next question? Is it where 7 is, or is it where 0 is now? Is 0 because that can't be 0. At least one of these is grey, so that can't be 0. At least one of these is grey, so that can't be right. So where's 0? Not there, not there, not there, not there. Could it be here? Maybe. Could it be? Oh, maybe it could be there as well. So there's actually a few. I think 3 of them can still be 0. Let's actually put a 0 corner mark in there. I mean, it's ludicrous, but I might as well do it. So to show that I've actually thought about it. Okay, so let's think about 7. 7 might be more. Well, what do I think about 7? Do I think 7's easier or harder? 7 is going to involve a lot of greyness around the clue cell. I mean, what else? Oh, actually, that one can't be 2 anymore because we've had 2 there. Or maybe this one. Maybe there's some. This one sees 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay, well, it's not 7. That's definitely true. That's going to, because what that's going to do is tell us, let me just show you. If all of those are grey, which is what would happen if this was, oh, it can't be 7 anyway, because we've got 3 cells here already that we don't even have to think about that. We've already got 3 cells around of these 8. 3 are definitely green, so the maximum count this can have is 5, in fact. So that clue is 0, 1, 3, 4, 5. And it's not 0 because it's already got a grey around it. Oh, and it's not 1 because all this would be green, and the loop would go in there and would crack. So maybe this is the cell we need to look at. This is 3, 4, or 5 now. And if it's anything other than 5, the loop is going into some of this area. If it's 3, oh, it could be 3. No, it could be 3. If it's 3 and those 2 were grey, that would work, because then the loop could go up into the corner here. If it's 4, That feels hard. No, that works as well. If all of those are grey. Oh, bobbins. Okay, so maybe it's not that one. Okay. So instead of that, what do we think? I don't know. I'm not sure. Should we go back to thinking about 7 again? Maybe we can rule 7 out of this one. Actually, I'm going to change those greens. I'm going to make those blues again. Otherwise I was thinking, well, that one can't be, and that's just wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that feels impossible. Is that impossible? Well, actually, now I say it's impossible. I'm not sure it is. The answer is I don't know. It might be impossible, but it's not self-evident. I mean, what we're saying is if this is 7... Oh gosh, my phone's going mad. All of those turn grey. Now, have we got a connectivity problem? And providing one of these was the green, we know one of these blues down here is a green. Providing it was one of these, there would be connectivity getting the loop out. I suppose also we know the loop has to touch this somewhere, don't we? Only one. So, because most of this, if this is 7, most of these cells are grey. So which cell? But it could be that one, couldn't it? So the loop could wiggle round here and then go up. So all of these would be grey. All of these would be grey. I feel that there's an issue with that, but I'm not exactly sure that it's forced to be wrong. How would we prove that that's impossible? Or is there no way to do it? I don't know. Sorry, I'm not seeing. Okay, so let's take that out. I mean, I think if that was 7, that would be very powerful. That I am sure about. So of the ones that can be 7, we've got this one, this one. This one looks very likely to be 7. It's got 4 arrows pointing off it. So, but I suppose if it was 7, all of these would have to be grey, wouldn't they? Let's just have a think about that for a moment. Thing is, the reason that's quite attractive is it really doesn't hurt any of the loop connectivity issues that we've got. Do we? Oh, maybe we've got to be careful with this one as well. I'm just thinking, because we know that the loop has sort of entered this neck of the woods, don't we? But the loop could escape here, or it could escape across the top, or it could escape through there. No, I'm not sure that one is the key one. One of these will be a key one. We've just got to work out which one it is. I mean, this one could very easily be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I mean, what's the restriction here? What am I not understanding? There must be something. Okay. Right, we said that there had to be connectivity. I have to have a gap down here. It's not there, is it? That doesn't create a gap. So that's definitely grey. Does that create a gap? Yes, that could create a gap. But that being grey, I'm wondering if it's now, I'm back to thinking, is it about the 0 rather than the 7? I mean, that was never going to be the 0. That's not the 0. If that's a 0, not sure. I'm not sure if that's possible or not. If that's a 0, yeah, actually, maybe this is a better thought. Where is the 0? Yeah, that can't. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go back. Sorry, I mean, I know I'm going backwards and forwards, but I've never done this sort of puzzle before, so my intuition is only being developed slowly over the 40 minutes of the puzzle. Okay. Which one of these is 0? That's the question I'm going to ask. Now, if you get a 0, yeah, this is not 0, which I had not appreciated before. That's beautiful. Right, here, this is definitely interesting because I've not thought about this at all. If that's 0, that one, that blue one, becomes the green one, doesn't it? And I've got a problem here. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, I should have seen this before. I'm cross with myself. But look, so these would be grey, and all of this is green. And look at this. Can you see the problem? Houston, we have a problem here, because the loop has to go through that channel, and the loop has to go through that channel. And now, this little loop end is stranded. It can't get out of the top. So that's created oh, that's so beautiful. Good grief. So that is not 0. Okay, so this is 1, 3 or 4. I've got to go back. I've got to restore the blue up here. Now, does it work the same way there? It does, doesn't it? This is the point. This is it. I found it. Right, that's not 0. It's exactly the same. This is just gorgeous logic. So this becomes the gap in the bottom of the grid, and we have exactly the same problem. Those blues turn into greys, and look, I've got a channel here and a channel here, and there is now no path for this to get out of the southeast corner of the grid. It's walled in. Oh, goodness me. This is huge. Okay, and it's interesting how bad my intuition was about this, because it really was nowhere near being as good as it needed to be. Okay, but now this is lovely, because I think we're left only with this one being 0. And sure, well, that immediately makes all those green. It immediately makes, oh, this is good. It makes that green, which makes these grey. It makes that one green. That wasn't actually, I thought it was going to be one of these that was the green, but it hasn't done that. Sorry, I don't know if you'll see that, but the lights dimmed, and I clicked the stop recording button, and I've been downstairs to see if the fuse box is okay. It seems all right. We haven't had another power cut, so I've turned on the webcam again, and we're going to resume. But the most important thing is that that footage should be stored, so we should be able to continue with without interruption for you guys, but with a bit of interruption for me. So let me just see where I was. What was I doing? I feel like we were at a good place actually. How had I done this? Yes, I got the 0. which put the gap in the 8. That's what we've done. That's what we've done. So we can do this. We can finish the zeros. In both directions. That's got to be a corner of the loop. This has got to be like that. Oh, this is fine. Okay, so I wouldn't have liked it if I come back to this and then been totally stuck for ages. So this is the way that we passed from the southeast into the sort of the western area of the grid. So the loop has to go through that little channel. That's got to be green. Now, that one, that's a 1 now. It sees 2 on this diagram. Well, the point is both of those are green now. So whenever I pencil marked it, it could have been a 4 and have 4 greys. Now it can only have 2 greys, but it can't be a 2 because we've already had a 2. I was wondering why it didn't have a 2 in the pencil marks. So that's a 1, which it doesn't have at the moment. So that 1 is either here, which it's not, or there. I'll show you why it's not here. This is lovely. This is just lovely. If that's a 1, then that's the only grey cell around the clue. So that becomes green, and that's totally cul-de-saced. So that's not going to work. So the grey is there, which means that's grey. Otherwise, that's grey in the corner. That doesn't get any Christmas songage at the moment. So this is green. So does this... Oh no, hang on, we haven't... Okay, so now the fact that we disproved this from being grey means I'm still completely... Well, that can't be grey, because then that would be green and that would be cul-de-saced. That's not going to work. So that's also green. And one of these is grey. So sort of one of the cardinal directions around the 1 clue is grey. I don't know. Oh, I tell you what. There's two channels we've created around the 0 now. So those have got to be loop. So the loop is coming in to this top area. So if the loop did cut across here, oh, then that would turn that way. Is that possible? Maybe that is possible, and the loop's going to do some sort of rinky-dinkage like this. Oh, bobbins. Okay, so that doesn't work. And every other clue cell now is at least a 3, which means 3 grey cells around it. Okay, but which one of these is 7 now? No, that can't be 7. It's got 2 greens around it. Anything... Oh, this one might be able to be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, you can't make both of those. That's beautiful. Right. Which one of the clue cells is 7 is a good question, because that one I don't think can be, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It could be 7, but to do that would make both of those grey, and that's isolating this cell here. So that's not 7. That can't be 7 because it's got 2 greens around it, so it could only get up to 6 grey around it, if you see what I mean, in its immediate vicinity. This can't be 7 because it's got 3 greens around it, so it must be that one that's 7, which was always our favourite, I think. And that's just going to mean that everything around it is grey. And that's going to do diddly squat. That's going to do diddly squat. It doesn't do anything. Well, it's a 7, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's got 4. Hang on, has it got more than that? No. It's rotten. So they're getting the 7. Okay, so everything else is 3, 4, 5, or 6. I'm going to put that in. That's a pencil mark. It feels forgivable to make. That can't be 6, can it? Because it's got too many. Well, in fact, what can that be? That could be 4. So that is 3 or 4, depending on how many of those two are grey. That's 3, 4, or 5. Okay, so which is the 6 is going to be the question, isn't it? Can that be 6? Only just. If that's 6... no, that can't be 6, but for a weird reason. Yeah, if this is 6, all of these squares are grey, but we have to see 6 in the 2 arrow directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all of those would be grey, and the problem I see there is this square. That's cul-de-sac. You can't get the loop in and out of this area now, so that can't be right. So that's not 6. So in theory, that's 6 by a process of elimination. And, well, we know those 2 can't be grey, because that would block this in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one of these is 6. This is gorgeous. This puzzle is an absolutely brilliant puzzle. So these have to be grey, which means those are definitely grey. That's definitely grey. That connects the loop in the top of the grid. Surely now I know that that's got 5 around it. So that's the 5. Oh, these are a 3, 4 pair. The 5... 1, 2, 3. Oh no, that's got flexibility. The 6, one of these is grey, but I don't know which one. Okay, that's grey. Because if that's green, the loop's going along into a very, very cul-de-sac little space. So that's grey. All those are grey. This is 4 now by count of greyness around it. That's 3 by process known as elimination. We've basically whittled this one down. So one of these is now grey. One of these is green. This 4, all the rest of it is green. And now... okay, that's a corner of the loop now. So that gives us another green here. And what's this saying? So this is saying we've had 2 in this direction and, well, we could have 1 in this direction. We need 1 more grey in all of those for this 3 clue. So if that was grey... the world would break. Golly, that's quite tricky to see, but it's true. Right, let me show you that. If that's grey, the problem I'm seeing there is this 4 clue, actually. Yeah, so if you sort of visualise how the loop's going to move, the loop's going to do this, forced up here, forced here, and it's still got to get to this square, so it's forced down here. But now look at the 4 clue. The 4 clue can be completed with a line of grey there, but this is isolated and cul-de-sac, so that can't be right. So that happened when this was grey, so this is green, which means that's the final grey around the 3. And that's green, because we know the 6 was taking 1 of these as grey. So the loop goes through there. Oh no, actually. And now we still don't really know how the 3 finishes, because it's still got to have a grey in some direction or other. The 4, 3 of these are grey. Okay, well, it's not those 3, because that would be green and isolated and cul-de-sac. So that's grey. That's grey in the corner. The 6 clue 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's got one more green to come. That can't be there, so that's grey. It can't be there, so that's grey. I don't know, actually. Oh, all of those are grey now. Oh, that probably has an effect on the 5, does it? 1, 2, 3. So 2 of these are grey. Wow. I don't think I know. Oh no, okay. Oh, maybe the 7. I haven't done that one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, all of those count. And 6. So there's one more grey. Oh, I don't know. Oh, this is intriguing. So how do we finish this? Because it must just be a process of loop building now. If that's grey, that would be green. That doesn't work, does it? I think that isolates. But there might be a better way of seeing that. Can I tick off the clues I'm going to do that, actually. I'm going to try and tick off the clue. I've definitely done everything with this clue. Everything with this clue. I haven't done everything. I have done everything with that one. I haven't. There's loads of clues that I haven't really got to the bottom of yet. In the sense, I'm like with the 1, I've done the grey on the diagonals, but I haven't done the one around it yet. This one, the ones I've ringed with my light orange thing, I've actually done everything for. But the rest of them are all going to give me something new. I mean, if that's grey, am I not creating... No, because that could be grey, possibly. And then there would be just one route through. I'm not sure. Okay, so there must be... I did see something here, but it was quite complicated. I was wondering if there was a better way to... Oh, look at that. Oh, that might not be a conduit for the loop, though. Is it? Hang on, it's not possible, is it, for both of those to be grey? And it's not possible for both of those to be green. That's it. That's it. This is where we look. Because if both of these are green, I've got 2 passages. Whoa. Oh, because I changed the colour. And that would do that. And that's isolated. So that definitely isn't right. And obviously I can't make both of these grey because I've only got one grey available with this clue. So one of these is grey and both of those are green. And now that is a loop passage. And now we've got 3 loop ends potentially locked into this top left area of the grid. And that's not allowed. We can't create a loop. We have to have an even number of loop ends in any enclosed space. And the way we're going to achieve that is by shunting that one out of that enclosed space. And that means that this is the final grey, or the only grey that lives around that one clue. And we have to somehow work out, well, we can probably do it. Yeah, it just connects. It forces the connection up at the top. That's gorgeous as well. I shouldn't be surprised, and I'm not really. So now now the one clue gets its orange ring. That is finished. And it's going to either be this 5 clue or this the 6. No, I don't know. I don't know what it is. If it was right, okay. This loop end has to get out of this area, so it's going to come down there. And it can't touch itself. You know, that's going to create a small loop, isn't it? So it does that. I don't quite know how it closes up there, but maybe the 5, this is what the 5 clue is doing, is it? Let's come back to the count of this. 1. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's beautiful. It's forced. And that means, well, it means that's a cul-de-sac. The 6 is finished. Oh, not in the way I thought at all, actually. Well, I'm not sure. I can't remember now which way I thought that broke, but that's a corner of the loop now. So the loop does that. That's a corner of the loop. That all finishes. Oh, come on. This is such a beautiful puzzle. If I don't have a power cut now, we are good. Now, so what have I achieved? I've done that one. I've done that one. So it's the 7. Oh, the 7. That's got that one now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 is full because of this clue in the corner. So everything the 7 sees is green. 7 seas of green. Okay, that's good. So that's a corner of the loop. So we must use that. If we go there, this is unreachable. So we mustn't do that, must do that. Let's make sure we make that green. And all we've got to do now is work it. If that's grey, that's green. So that's definitely wrong. So it does look to me like this could be grey or green. So the decision is going to be around which of these possibly is grey. Oh, and the 4 clue, actually, I haven't used that. Ah, the 4 clue does it. Look, the 4 clue is not complete. But if I make those 2 grey, which is forced, it is complete, and that completes the 3 as well. So that's green. Oh, goodness, this doesn't look right, but maybe it'll work out. Well, okay, let's hope it does. The loop is now forced along here, look. So that's a corner, that's a corner, that's a corner. This can't be reached, or it's cul-de-sac, so the loop must do that. I mean, that's a ludicrously complicated finish in terms of how the loop moved through that area. But it worked, which gives me a great deal of hope that it's actually going to be correct. So that means we're in this situation, and we've got to do the thingy, haven't we? The thingy that told us how to do the answer check. So what we do is we do... Well, let's just check it doesn't. Will it understand that? Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, that's a good thing. So it probably means we got... Well, okay, so what that means is that we've got the numbers in the right place, which we probably could have anticipated. Place a 0 in all shaded cells. So can I just tap the colours? Yeah, so 0 in all of those. And 9 on all the green cells. We haven't done that one, have we? Why didn't that get up? Oh, is that because... Ah, so when I did the double clicking, I see those 2 were originally... They were given. So is that correct? Yes, there we go. Absolutely brilliant. That is such a brilliant puzzle, Shintaro. I absolutely loved it. And I'm a bit nervous, so I'm going to get off... I'm going to sort of turn the camera off now, just to say I thought that was spectacularly clever. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.